Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Daragh Campbell. I am scientific editor for Longevity.Technology, and today I'll be talking to you about ovarian longevity. First, I just want to quickly tell you a little bit about the Longevity Market Intelligence Unit, which I head up for Longevity.Technology. So as we all know, the longevity market is growing really fast. With all the scientific research that's happening at the moment, we know that there are tangible ways that we could slow the aging process and enhance both health span and lifespan. Because of this, we expect to see a significant growth in investor engagement and appetite in the coming years. Our goal is to continue to be the leading destination for longevity innovation, information and investment reporting. And that's why we created the new Longevity Market Intelligence Unit to focus on delivering high quality market reports to drive the longevity economy. And today I want to talk to you about our most recent report, which is ovarian longevity. So I'll just be discussing how the ovaries age, why it matters, what are the current interventions, what does the research show, what is the market size, and who are the main players. So how do the ovaries work? This is a really simple way of telling you how the ovaries work. It's a much more complicated process, but this helps kind of get your head around the idea of quantity and quality. So women are born with all of their eggs already. When they're born, they have about 1 to 2 million eggs, and they sit in a compartment which for simplicity we'll call compartment A. By the time of their first menarche, there are only around 300 to 500,000 left, and that's due to a lack of hormones before puberty. That's quite a lot of eggs, and you might be thinking, okay, if I have 300,000 left and I only produce one a month, then I should have 25,000 years before I hit my menopause. Sadly, that's not the case, and clearly it's not the case. And that's because that compartment A, every month, approximately 1,000 eggs are activated to move into another compartment, which we call compartment B. And approximately 999 of them are lost to a process called atresia, and only one egg of good quality is chosen for cyclic recruitment. So that means there's about 25 years until you hit menopause, but of course that's not the case for every woman, and that's because there's a lot of variation in how many eggs are in compartment A and how many are shuttled across every month. So even if you have a lot of eggs in your compartment A, if you're shuttling over 1,000 every month, that compartment A, that resource will go down. Similarly, you could have, quite a little eggs to start with. So even if you're not taking that many a month, you didn't have many to begin with. So your quantity again will decrease as you age. And it's not just quantity that we need to think about. Aging also impacts the quality of the eggs. So as you age, we have shown with research that each egg becomes kind of less good quality, and this can impact fertility. And there's lots of different theories as to why this is happening, but I think the most plausible explanation is we have a lot of damage accumulating in our bodies as we age, and we already know that it's part of the aging process. If you think about it, all of those eggs are just sat there. They've also got the most mitochondria out of any organ in the body, and mitochondria produce reactive oxygen species. So it could be that they are sat there and accumulating all this damage, and obviously that will increase as you age. Of course, there needs to be more scientific research into this. This is just a theory, but I think it's quite a good one. So why does all of this matter? Well, fertility is the future. If you think about it, women's life expectancy has increased by 30 years, but menopause onset has only increased by 3 to 4. And what this means is a woman has a really small period in her life where she has to think about whether or not she wants a child. And it's very early on in her life when you think about it in the timeline setting. So for many women, having children is still a key priority, but as their career opportunities and choices have improved, particularly in the developed world, more are choosing to wait longer before having children. And what this is doing is decreasing fertility rates. So I made this graph here, and the black line is 2.1. So a country needs to have a fertility rate of 2.1 to be able to replenish its population. And as you can see, that's not happening. So one really interesting fact I'll just pop in there is Australia 2020 was the first time that they had a declining population since the First World War. So what does this mean for the economy? fewer workers. So as birth rates fall, the working population eventually falls too, which could lead to labour shortages in countries where working age populations are in decline. We have fewer consumers, so lower birth rates and a falling working age population also means fewer consumers to generate growth on the domestic markets. And unless segments of this population become economically productive, they'll remain as a cost base to the economy. So it could have a massive impact on the economy if we aren't producing children, even though some will argue it's good for the environment, but that's another conversation. So why are women choosing to delay fertility and childbearing? As I said, we have an enhanced life expectancy, so we have longer in our lives to think about these things. This has also caused a higher education level, more career opportunities. The financial cost of having a child is a lot. I think any parent would agree. We have more relationship freedom than we used to, so we can choose who we want to start a family with. And also reproductive contraception means that there's way more family planning than there used to be. So many might look to social funding programs, flexible working, and educating young women about the impacts of delaying motherhood. But all of these things are a female's rights, and we at Longevity.Technology think ovarian longevity is a much better way to look at the problem. Further, it's not just an economy problem. Menopause also impacts the health span of females. So it's thought that the ovary is the earliest aging organ in females, and it's considered the pacemaker of female body aging. So its dysfunction could be driving the aging of multiple other organs. And actually, there was a paper that came out in Nature which linked the hallmarks of aging to a decrease in estrogen. So it showed that the hallmarks there that are in colour were all impacted by this decrease in hormones. And although we live longer than men, we live a lot of our lives in poor health. So women may live for 34% of their lives in poor health in comparison with a man's 26%. At the moment, current interventions plaster over the problem. So what do we do for fertility? We do oocyte cryopreservation and IVF. So it's a huge market, but the process is lengthy, expensive, and potentially ineffective experiences are normal. It also does absolutely nothing for health span. So for health span, we do hormone replacement therapy. And obviously there was a lot of buzz about the risks of hormone replacement therapy. However, if initiated within 10 years of menopause, it's been shown HRT can actually reduce all risk mortality, which again shows that that decrease in estrogen, that decrease in female hormones is having an impact on a female health span. However, HRT does absolutely nothing for fertility. So not only can delaying the aging of ovaries promote fertility, but it can also enhance the health span and lifespan for over 50% of the world's population. So that top right corner with enhanced fertility and enhanced longevity is where ovarian aging sits, and that's what we want to tackle. So how do we do it? Prevention comes in treating ovarian aging. And what's amazing about this is loads of the research that we are doing in longevity can be applied to the ovaries. So it's pretty much all of the same pathways that are involved in human aging are involved in the aging of the ovary. When you look up the research in this, a lot of the same terms pop up. So you've got, caloric restriction, repurposed drugs like metformin and melatonin, stem cell research, and of course, mitochondrial rejuvenation. So mitochondrial health, it's been extensively researched in longevity. And it has been shown by a team in Australia that taking kind of NAD supplements could actually have an impact on female fertility. So all of these things that we're already looking at could be used to treat ovarian aging. Finally, the ovaries are a great model to study aging. We use mice, we use dogs, but the ovary is a human organ, and it's the first organ to age, and it ages at quite a young age in comparison to a female's lifespan. So, you could have clinical trials that are run on the quality or quantity of the ovaries to see if that's having an impact, and that could translate to overall impact on human aging. We did a survey at Longevity.Technology, and we asked women if they would take an intervention to delay their menopause and extend their fertility. And what was weird about this was, well, for me anyway, only 32% said that they would. And I think this is quite a big reflection of the fact that what I'm talking about here still seems very sci-fi. You know, a lot of women aren't taught about menopause, they're not taught about female health. And I expect these numbers would change if it's something that we did have access to. However, it still equates to large numbers. So 32% is 3.6 million in the UK and 20 million in the US. These are huge markets. So it would cover fertility preservation, menopause, and potentially longevity market as well. Who is already in the game? So I have mapped here some of the femtech companies, and you know, we have up in the left-hand corner, we have the hormone replacement therapies. Down in the right, we have enhanced fertility, and then top right is people that are tackling ovarian aging. They're ran by some fantastic scientists, some brilliant women, and they're really, really interesting companies. So please reach out to them if you have any questions. Thank you so much for listening. Please download your free ovarian longevity report at www.longevity.technology if you want to learn more. We've also got an in-depth scientist investor report too. And thank you so much for listening. And if you have any more questions or you have information that you would like, then please contact either myself or the CEO of Longevity.Technology, Phil Newman.